Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Destiny and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we're gonna go ahead and start working with the main part of this course, which is actually posting questions, listing out our questions, checking out the detail of our questions, allowing users to comment on our questions, upvotes and downvotes, just like the like and the dislike button, and also deleting and doing a whole lot of things in the second part of this course. So I hope you guys are really gonna enjoy this one, because in this one we'll be learning a whole lot of things. And before we go ahead and get started, I want you guys to just go ahead and drop a like on this video, consider subscribing, as it will really mean the world to me. So let's go ahead and get started. Now back to our Visual Studio Code. The first thing we'll be doing is just close up the stack users, because for now we are done with the stack users. We won't be using it again for now. So we'll be coming over to the stack base. So to the stack base, we want to start creating the CRUD application. So we'll be creating the create, update, deletes and a whole lot of things. So let's just go ahead and get started with the create view. Okay guys, so the first thing you want to do is open up your views.py, and right here in your views.py, what you're going to be doing is quite easy if you follow along and pay attention to what we'll be doing. So firstly, we want to import the create view, and okay, let's start with the list view. So we're going to import the list view from Django.views.generic. So from Django.views.generic, we want to import the list view. Okay, we are importing the list view. For now, I think we're going to get rid of this home view that we have. Sorry, the about view that we have. We're going to get rid of it, or we could still leave it. There's no biggie. Then all we have to do is come over here and let's just create a new comment, and we're going to name this CRUD application, or let's just say CRUD function, something like that. So the first thing we want to do is define create underscore question list view. So question lists view. So this is going to handle listing out all the questions that a user, or that the users of our applications have posted here on the application. So what we have to do is just define a class question list view, and we're going to pass in list view in there, and make sure you're adding a colon at the back to actually make everything work fine. So the second thing we want to import is the models over here. So right now in our models, as you can see, we haven't actually added anything, but in the next video we're going to go ahead and start adding some things to the models. But over here, what we want to do is import a question model that we'll be creating. We haven't actually created it yet, but let's just go ahead and import it. So we're going to say from .models, we want to import question. So we don't have this yet, but we are still going to create it. Then after we pass in this, we want to pass in model should be equal to question. So model should be equal to question. So for now, let's just put a break on this, and let's go and make our models.py. So in our models.py, we did a couple of things, but let's just go ahead and start first. The first thing we need is a class, and this class is going to take question, or let's say question, and it should inherit from models.model, just like this. And now we need to think about the things that we need in a question app. So when you're creating an application like this, you need to think about the things that a user might need if they want to ask a question. So the first thing a user might need is a title. So they will need a title. Now we're going to set this to models.character field, and let's say a question title should at least have a max length of 10,000 characters at least. And also, what else would a user be needing? They would also need a content or body, whatever you want to call it, or let's just say content, and we're going to pass this to models.text field. So what does text field do? Now when we say child field, it simply means you don't want to take in a whole bunch of text. For example, let's say your Facebook post has a title, and it's just a short title, a short catchy title that's going to make people want to come read your content. So the character field is what we usually use to make the titles, because they are not long, and the text field is what we use to make the whole bunch of word, like the places where you type a whole bunch of word into. So we're going to pass content equal to models.text field, and the next thing we need here is null. Let me make sure that I'm actually spelling that right. So we're going to pass in null equal to true, and we also need a blank equal to true. So if you don't do this, Python Django will automatically do it for you. So we have title, we have content, and let's see what else do you think we should have over here. So for now, I'll just be coming over to the projects that I have already concluded, and let me see the things that I actually used. For example, I use date_created and I use likes, but for now we'll be using likes. So the next thing we need is date_created to keep a record of when this user created this question. So we're gonna put date_created and we're gonna set this to models.datetime field. So models.datetime field, and we want to pass in auto now add equal to true. But to actually use this, we want to import something. We're gonna say from Django.utils, we want to import time zone. Let's just make sure I'm getting it correct. Okay, from Django.utils we import time zone. So after this, now as you can see, the next thing I did over here was just define a $str that's going to pass in self.user.username and just call question at the front. So let's go ahead and do that. Over here in here, you just want to define self__str, and okay, we already got all this, but I just want to get rid of this, and I'm going to pass in self over there, passing a semicolon. Then after this, I think the next thing we want to do is very simple. We just want to go ahead and pass in the return, and it should be in an F-formatted string. Then we're going to open this, so it's going to be self.user.username. So I'm going to explain what we're doing here, then we're going to pass in question. Okay, what we did here is very simple. After we created our question model, and our question model is going to allow a user type in their title of the question, type in the content, and it's going to keep track of when the question was created. And also what we did over here was very simple. We just defined the $str function, and this one is going to simply return the name of the logged in user, or the name of the user that's asking the question rather. Then it's going to pass in question at the front. So for example, let's say this is our output. I just want to show you guys what it would look like. So for example, let's say this is our output. This is how it's going to look. Now let's say it's Destiny that asked the question, then it's going to say Destiny-question. Hopefully you understand because of this question over here. So let's say this question was something like question, haha. So it's going to be Destiny-question, haha. But this code over here would simply return the name of the user that asked the question. Hopefully you understand what I did here. And after this, I think that's pretty much what I want to do. I just want to go ahead and register this in my admins.py. So I'm going to install it from .models. I want to import, I think it's called question. So I want to import question, and after this I'm going to register it. So I'm going to say admin.site.register, and we are going to pass in the question that we imported from our .models over here. So after this, you all know that we are supposed to run migrations and also migrate in order to make our project actually run fine. So the first thing we're going to say is make migration. And while we're making migration, that's simple because we actually we actually did something in our models.py. We actually touched some files over there, added some and removed some and all that. So whenever you do anything in your models.py, you want to make sure that you make migrations to actually make the migration to your database. Then finally, we want to migrate everything that we have to our database finally. So as you can see, it says applying stack base, and it's made this over here, and also it applied all these migrations: admin, auth, content type, session, stack base, and stack user. So it's appended all this to our admin page. So we'll come over here now and refresh. Let's see. We come over here. Okay, our server is not running. Let's make sure our server is running. I cleared out my page, and I'm gonna say python manage.py run server, and as you can see, it's opened this up now. Let's refresh. Okay, as you can see, now we have questions. So we now have question model. If you click on this now, as you can see, we can add a new question, but there's still an error over here. As you can see, we don't have the date time thing showing up. But firstly, let's go ahead and add a question. So in order to add a question, I usually just open up Stackoverflow and just pick up some dummy questions. So let me just open up Stack Overflow, and I'm going to pick up some dummy question. Let me connect to the internet. Okay, so I'm a Stack Overflow now. I'm just going to copy the first question, whatever it is, who incurs computer time using whatever. So I'm just going to copy that and put it over here, and I'm just going to still put in a couple of times as the content. I'm going to hit save. So I hit save now. You see we are getting question object has no attribute user, so it has no attribute user. Now we have to do some more complex things over here. So in our models.py, you see we have title, we have content, we have data underscore created, but we are supposed to have something else that's more than that. We are supposed to have a user variable. So a user variable that's going to keep track of the user that actually made the question. We are still supposed to have that, and in order to have that, we want to make sure that we import these over here from django.contrib.auth.models. We want to import it over here at the top. So we're going to say from django.contrib.auth.models we import user. So this user is what we're going to use to create a user variable and set this to models.foreign key, and we're going to pass in user. Now the next thing we want to pass in is on delete should be equal to models.cascade, just like this. And what this is going to do is very simple. When a user gets deleted, what do we want to do? We want to also delete their question. But when a question gets deleted, we don't want to delete the user because that's kind of dumb, you know, it's weird. So when a user gets deleted, we delete their question. That's what this code over here is going to do. And also we set it to foreign key. So with this now, we want to go ahead and migrate again. I told you guys that whenever you do anything in your models.py, you want to make sure you make migrations and also you migrate. Okay, so it says we should provide one of the defaults we send to existing rows with a null value for this column. So let's just select option 1 and option 1 again. So after this now we are going to migrate. So let's python manage.py migrate, just like that. Okay, as you can see we've migrated. Now let's run our server again. So we're going to say python manage.py run server. Okay, and as you can see the server is running. So let's come over here and actually refresh this again. So it says this field is now required. So we need to like manually add a question to a specific user. For example, Destiny is asking this question. This is the title of the question. This is the content of the question. So now when we hit save, it actually saves. And if we open this up again, you will see that we do not have the date and time that this was added, and that's pretty easy. It's because we need to add this. I told you guys we need to add this in our form, and we already did. And also in the dates this we need to add default is equal to time zone dot now instead of author underscore now add. So we are supposed to use default equals to time zone dot now. So let's go ahead and fix that real quick. Make sure you are already importing this, and over here now we want to get rid of this one, and we're gonna add default. So default should be equal to time zone dot now. As simple as that. Now when we come over here and refresh, boom, as you can see we now have date underscore created. So it's keeping track of the date and the time when our question was created, and over here it says you are 1 hour ahead of the server time, whatever, as long as it's still keeping like watch of this. Okay, I think that's pretty much what we want to do over here. Let's just make sure we save this question, and we want to add a couple questions. Let's add another question. So I'm just going to come over here and pick another random question. Let's say Karen want to ask this question, paste it a couple times. No, that's not what I want to do. I just want to come over here, copy this, and paste it just like that. Paste it again. I'm going to copy and paste. No, this is not what I want to do. So come over there, paste. Let's go back a bit, paste. Okay, this is what I want to do now. I'm just gonna hit save, and as you can see it saved it, and I want to add the last question. So let's say it's gonna be Tom that's gonna ask this one. Now we are gonna pass in this, and we're gonna come over here, pass in that's over there. And this time around there's something I actually want to do. I actually want to make this one like really long. Hopefully you understand what I'm saying. So I'm just gonna copy this, and I'm gonna paste. I just want to make it like really long, and that's because I want to use to show you guys some. So paste that, and we're gonna hit save. Okay, now when we come over to Tom, you see that we have a whole lot of description over here, a question, title to, the user, and the date. So I think that's pretty much what we want to do. Okay, now back to our views.py. What we want to do is simple. As you can see, we already have the question that we imported from .models. This is it over here. I told you guys that we were still going to make it in a minute. Now we imported it, and we have this already. So with this now, what we're gonna do next is gonna be very easy. All we just need to do is define a URL, and we're gonna make a template for it, and I think we should be done. So let's firstly go and make a URL for it. Now when we come over to the urls.py, we're gonna say from .import views. But this time around, let's do something more logical. We can still use this like that. There's nothing there. Okay, let's just keep using it, and let me show you guys that actually nothing is going to happen. So with this now, I'm going to define CRUD function for the URLs. I'm going to set a path, and this path, I want it to go to questions. So whenever a user comes to port 8000/question, I want them to access all the questions. So that's why we did that. Now the next thing we're gonna say is call from .import views. So we're gonna say views dot question list view, just like that. So views dot question list view. Now the last one should be dot as view, just like that, and we need to pass in a parenthesis over there because it's a method. Now the next thing we are gonna do is add a name to it. So we're gonna add a name, and this name should be like let's say question list, something like that. Okay, after this now let's try going to this place and let's see what we get. So we have to come over to our website, we get rid of this, we see our page. Now when we go to /question, what do we see? You see template doesn't exist at /questions. So Django is automatically looking for the question underscore list HTML in this folder over here named Stackbase. So let's go and do that. Now in our Stackbase application, you want to create a new directory, and you are going to name it templates, just like that. And in the templates directory, you're going to create another new folder, and you're going to name it Stackbase, just like that. Now in the Stackbase, that's where we want to create the question underscore list.html. But I told you guys that we already have almost all the templates built out, so we don't have to start doing it from the beginning. Let's just pick the template and drop it over there. So this is it over here, questions underscore list.html. So I'm just gonna copy it, come over here, and let's put it in here. But actually there is something now. You see it's question underscore list.html over here, but the template says questions underscore list. So we need to reformat this so everything actually work fine. Now when we come over here and refresh again, let's see. Okay, we are refreshing and it's not still working. Let's actually find what's going on. Let's see. Okay, so when we come over here now and give a hard refresh, so let's just break out of our yes, and let's run it again. Okay, so when we come over here now and refresh, okay, as you can see it's working now, but there's just a problem. It says reverse for question dash create not found. Question dash create is not a valid view function or pattern name. Okay, so when you come over here now, you will see that we have this. So let's just get rid of this, and you guys are gonna see that everything is gonna work fine. So we get rid of this, but I think we might still get some other errors like that, but for now, okay, you can see that's bad, still looking good. Okay, so we see top question and we see asked question. So this is looking pretty good, and it already extends from base.html. It gives the block content and ends the block content over here. So the next thing we want to do is very simple. We are just going to loop over our question and we're going to display them here. But before we actually do that, I want to get rid of some things over here that I already have. I'm just going to get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of this, gonna get rid of this one too, and this one, and let's say I also want to get rid of this one. Yeah, and let's make this go away. We're gonna make that go away. So you don't have to worry about this. This is just for me. You can just still follow along with me. I just want to make sure that this is not here. So I'm going to do it again and show you guys what it actually does. So this one is going to be for where our question is going to sit. We still need to get rid of this. I think we need to get rid of that, get rid of this. And finally, let's get rid of this too. Yeah. Okay, I think it should be there. Yeah, it should be there. Let's see. I hope we didn't get rid of anything that we are actually gonna need. Let me just go back a bit. Okay, we actually need to know that the title is gonna be here, so for now let's just leave this over here. But we're gonna get rid of this one, we're gonna get rid of this, we're gonna get rid of this. Okay, so I think this is pretty much what we want to do. And also for this, let's get rid of this, because I still want to show you guys some things that you're gonna learn and that's you're actually gonna find important over here. So now when we come over here and refresh, you see it gets invalid and for online. Let's see over here. So we need to just come over here and say bye bye to it. Now when we come over here and refresh again, you see everything is working as expected. Now we get just this dummy question thing asked by nobody on no date, tags, no tags, and we have two question buttons over here. We are still gonna fix all this in this video, so let's go ahead and start making the functionality where we would list out all the questions. So let's go ahead and do that. Now the first thing you want to do is loop over the questions. So we need to loop over all the questions that we have got. Now to loop over the questions, you need to actually know where the beginning part of this box over here, this div, stays. So as you can see, it's somewhere here. So we need to loop over this. We need to loop for those questions at the top of this place like this. So we need to say for question in question. So for question in question, we want to do something that's very simple. We pass in question underscore title and there's question underscore save. That one I'm going to show you guys. Let's just go ahead and end for. Let's come over here. Let's come over here and end for, and let's refresh. Okay, so we refresh now and nothing is actually happening. I think it's not looping over the questions the right way. Okay, as you can see, we ran a for loop that's simply gonna loop over all the questions that we have in our database. So it's gonna loop over all the questions that we have, and we say it for question in question, but this isn't actually working. It's not showing up here. And why is that? That's because in our views.py we need to define a context object name. So context object name is just like something that we simply gonna use to get everything that's in this class question list view. So let's set this question object name to questions. Yeah, so let's just set it to questions. Now back to the question list, we're gonna say for question in questions. So if we come over here now and refresh, what do you notice? We got all the questions in our database. Hopefully you understand. We got all the questions. You see that we have the title over here. We have the detail, like the content of the question. These two, we have the title, we have the content of the question. These two, we have the title, and we have a very long content of the question over here. This is way too much and long. So don't worry, we're still going to be fixing this in this course. So in case you were asking how did I actually get all this designed, I told you guys that I already made the design before I actually started making this video, so that you don't have to sit back there and watch me design this. So that's why I already have this design over here. What I just did is very simple. I looped through all the questions that I have in my database. It's just like picking out all the questions I have in my database and displaying them here. So that's simply what I just did. Now, okay, let's try adding one more question so you guys will see what I'm actually talking about. If I come over here now, I come over to question and I want to add a new question from Stackoverflow. I'm just gonna pick a random question. Let me just pick this one, and over here I'm gonna say let's Tom ask this question again. We're gonna put that here and put this there, and again we need to copy this and we need to put them somewhere here like that. Okay, I think that's not actually what I really do want. I'm gonna copy this and just paste them a couple times there. So when I save this now, come over here and refresh, what do you notice? It's actually added the question just down here. And firstly, that's not what I want. I actually want the latest question to come to the top. So how do we do that? It's quite easy. Back to our views.py, we're going to define what's called ordering. So ordering is very simple. What it's simply going to do is order by the date that the question was posted. So this question was posted. Let's get back to our models.py. You see, we have this variable that stores the date when the model is when the question is posted, and it's called date underscore created. So with this date underscore created, we can order the way we want to view questions in our list. So we're just simply gonna say minus date underscore created. So minus date underscore created means that it's not going to start from the oldest, then it's going to start from the newest. So when I refresh this now, what do you notice? The newest one now comes to the top, the oldest goes down. And if you don't still understand how it's still working, let me just go ahead and add a new question so you would understand. But this time around, I'm going to choose, okay, let's say I want to add my own question so you actually understand. Okay, new question, let's just name this new question. And let's say Destiny want to ask this one, and let's just paste in whatever in here and hit save. So with this now, when we come over here and refresh, what do you notice? You see new question and you see the question. Oh my god, that's way too long. So you see the same thing over here. We are still gonna deal with this. So the first thing we're gonna do is quite easy. Yet we are not going to be making the details. I think we should be doing that in the next video. Now we want to configure this asked by, so that we'll see the user that asks the question. Also, we're going to configure the on. So this over here is simply going to display the date which the user posted a question. You see on, then we display date somewhere here. Asked by, we display them. For now, we don't have any tags. We are still going to do that in the upcoming videos, but for now we don't have any tags. So let's go ahead and start working with the asked by and this. Okay, the first thing I want to do is configure the asked by. So how do we do that? Now back to this place, and you also might be asking, how did I even add this content? So it's very simple. I just looped over question.title and I got it. So had it been I said something like questions.title, look, you see all the title is gone. Now why are we using question.title? That's because that's what we used in our for loop. We say it for question in questions. Had it been we say it for underscore or for dash in questions, what we have to use here is dash for our question to show up. Just like this. Now let's refresh this. Okay, it says could not pass. I think that's not like a valid word. Okay, let's say for a in questions. Now over here, all we need to do is simply use a, and our title is going to show up. So we refresh, and as you can see, our title is showing up, but now our content is not showing up, and that's because we are still using question instead of using a over here. So we're just going to pass in a. Now when we refresh, content shows up. Hopefully you understand. But I'm going to stick with question. It looks more professional and everything is still going to work fine. So firstly, let's configure the asked by. So the asked by is simple. We are just going to come over here and let's say user.username. Now when we come over here now and refresh, let's see, you see we get Destiny, 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 and this is not what is supposed to happen. And that's because different users actually asked those questions. It's not only Destiny. If you come over here and refresh, you see Karen, Tom asked, but now it's showing only Destiny. So let's actually try on that and see if that's gonna work. So we're gonna say request.user.username. So now when we refresh, let's see. Okay, so as you can see, we refreshed, we are still getting this, and there's just one thing I think we are supposed to do that we are not doing. All these are wrong. So if you did this, it's wrong. Now let's actually do it the right way. So actually we have this thing in our database that's called user. So when we're trying to add question, you see that we have user, and a user asks a question. For example, Destiny asks a question. So we don't need to call the user that's logged in. We need to call the user that asks the question. So what we need to say is very simple. We're gonna say questions.user. I think it should be user. So let's refresh. I think it should be question.user, not questions. Questions.user. Now when we come over here now and refresh, as you can see, it's working perfectly fine. So Destiny asked by Destiny, asked by Tom, and asked by, as you can see, other users, Karen and all that. So the next thing we want to configure is the date. So for the date, it's quite the same thing, but this time around we're gonna say question.date underscore created. So now when we refresh, let's see, as you can see, we now have on October 7th 2021 10:47 p.m. on October 7th 2021 10:45 p.m. But you know, there's a whole lot of ways to like format the date and time, and I think we should actually do that because it's kind of necessary. I think we should do that. So what we want to do is come over here and add a pipe. So with the pipe, the next thing we're gonna add is a date, then I think that should be in lowercase, and we're gonna add in a string just like this. The first one is gonna be a small letter J, then not without a comma we're gonna add an F, then with a comma we're gonna add a Y. That's for the year. So now when we refresh this, what do you notice? You see it says on 7th October 21, 7th October 21, but I don't actually need this way. It's not actually what I want. So let me see what's actually going on here. That's not pretty. Let's use a capital Y. And okay, as you can see, that's actually what I wanted. So it says on 7th October 2021. Okay, this is pretty working good. It's not bad. It's actually working the way we actually wanted it to work. And now I think if we don't stop it here, then I think this video is really gonna be long. So it's actually long because we are actually worked with our models.py. So we worked with our models.py, we worked with our question underscore lists .html, we worked with URLs, and we worked with views. And take note, we are not yet done with this. We are still gonna do a whole lot of things. For example, you see this question over here, it's just way too long, so we need to truncate this to do it in a way that once only the first 10 words shows, then you're gonna see a button that's gonna say read more. So that's the next thing we're gonna do. Let's go ahead and do it now. So in order to do it, it's quite easy. What we just want to say is come over here that we are calling our question, and just below this we want to say if question dot content pipe word count, just follow along with what I'm doing, is less than or equal to 10. So if it's less than or equal to 10, then we want to pass in question dot title. Else, for example, if it's as long as this, that's what else means. So what we did over here is simply check if the words over here is less than 10. For example, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So if it's less than 10, we're just gonna pass in the question contents the way it is. But if it's not less than 10, we want to do something else. So we're just gonna copy this and let's paste it here again, and we want to end if before we forget. So we're just gonna end if. And now what do we want to do over here? It's quite easy. So we're gonna say question.content pipe truncate words, then there's going to be a colon, then 10. So I want to truncate the words to 10. Now when we refresh this, what do you notice? It truncates the words, like the long ones, to just 10 words. Now let's count this: 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10. So as you can see, it truncates the word to 10. And after this, after the truncating, what do we need? We just need a link that's gonna say something like read more. Now when we refresh this, now you see we have read more, and read more. Okay, this one isn't actually following along. We are still gonna fix this one. I think I should just delete this question and let's remake it again. So I'm just gonna delete this question. Let's delete. No, I don't want to add a new one. Actually want to delete one. And now let's add a new question. This one is going to be really long, so we see what we actually did, the way it's working. So I'm going to copy this one over here, and it's actually copying what I do not want, so I'm just going to copy it this way. And the next thing I'm going to do is just come over here and I'm going to paste it. Also, I'm just paste it a couple times again. So come over here, paste. No, this is not what I want. I'm going to come over here, paste. I'm going to come over here again and copy and paste again and paste again and paste. So with this, now when I save this, come over here and refresh. Okay, as you can see, it says reverse inventory order on blah blah blah. Then it says read more because it's up to 10 words. Now if you count this, you see 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So it's up to 10 words, then it says read more. So with this, now we can be consistent with the way our questions look on our page, and that's pretty interesting. So let's see if there is any other thing we want to do. Okay, for now we have this 2 question button. We are still gonna make this functional. So what this is going to do is simple. If a user is logged in, one is going to ask a question. If a user is not logged in and click on this one over here, it's going to tell them to log in. But for now, I think we are not going to do that in this course. We are just going to stick with some pretty basic things we have just done, like this ones now. Okay, I think that should be it. Everything is working as expected. And in the next video, we're going to go ahead and start working with the detail view, the updates, the delete, and a whole lot of things. This video is actually quite long, and I hope you guys actually enjoyed it and learned something new. So if you did, do not forget to drop a like on this video, consider subscribing, and also comment your thoughts about what you think of on this video. And I hope I'll see you guys in the next video, where we're going to go ahead and start doing some more strategic amazing things. Mad love, peace out.